I would like to call this regular meeting of the Board of Selectmen for June 20th, 22 to order. Can I ask everyone to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? At 7 o'clock. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. May I have a motion to go into executive session? Mike moves, Sarah seconds. All in favor? Perfect. Okay, may I please have a motion to adjourn to regular session? Sarah moves, Mike seconds, all in favor? Unanimous?
Okay.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the first Selectmen's report for June 20th. Weekly COVID positivity as of June 14th was 8.47. This represents the fourth consecutive week that we've had a decline in the positivity rate. At the end of May, we were at a peak of 17.84%. Juneteenth commemorates June 19th, 1865, when African Americans in Texas were told they were free. People across the country have continued to celebrate the day since 1865, but today marks the first Juneteenth celebrated as a federal holiday. However you may be honoring this holiday, I hope you will take some time to reflect on what it means to be truly free, to live in a free society, and to embrace everyone as equal. I was honored to attend the Darien High School graduation ceremony that took place last Friday evening. The sun was shining, and it was just really nice to look out at a packed crowd of proud students and even prouder parents. The possible acquisition of Great Island is at a critical point. The Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance have both supported the acquisition, and now it's up to the members of the RTM to understand and consider all aspects, from the cost to the opportunities. Every RTM member has been offered a tour of the island, and I hope that they are able to make that. We have several scheduled appointments still available for this week. I ask our residents to please reach out to their RTM representatives and share their thoughts and questions and comments before the RTM vote, which is next Monday, June 27th. I'm very pleased to announce that WestCog has entered into an agreement with Dewberry to act as consultants for a flood mitigation assistance program and project management for the 18 municipalities that are in our COG. The proposed project manager, Scott Choquette, who's currently working with Darien, assisting residents with FEMA hazard mitigation assistance. This contract with WestCog is a 1 year, but it's expected to be a multi-year project. Yesterday was a day to pay tribute to all fathers and all father figures in our lives, and I hope my fellow selectmen, Mike and John, I hope you had a wonderful Father's Day. And I also, what's that?
Yes, I did.
Good. And yesterday I was also very, very honored to be at the Eagle Scout ceremony, and where Cormac Brown, Tate Hansen, Eric Morgan, and Jack Pearsall were recognized for their Eagle Scout accomplishments. Every 2 years, Peace Runs organization organizes a peace run all over the world to give the opportunity for people to express their hopes for a more peaceful and harmonious world. And last Friday, I enjoyed meeting the group of runners that stopped at Darien Town Hall. Terry Gaffney has moved out of town, so he has tendered his resignation as the Monuments and Ceremonies Commission. And I'd like to take a moment to extend my sincere gratitude to Terry for his years of volunteer service to the town, not only on the Monuments and Ceremonies Commission, but also for his years spent on the Advisory Committee on Sustainability. His leadership and wealth of knowledge benefited our entire town, and his offer of assistance to help during the transition is really appreciated. Last but not least, I have good news. We have enough volunteers to staff the swap shop at the recycling center on Saturday mornings. So as of June 11th, the swap shop will be open from 8 until noon every Saturday morning. So that's what I have for the first Selectmen's report. Kate, do you have anything?
Just a couple quick things. Contract negotiations with the police are underway. Our new HR director will be starting on July 5th. We're all very excited to have her join us. And the emergency services study consultant will be in town next week, meeting with the fire departments, with the fire marshals, with me, going to visit the dispatch center locally and the regional dispatch center that we use. So that study is well underway. And that's it.
Okay. Board liaison reports. Do you have anything, Mike? You reported you reported last week. Sarah, do you have anything?
The Hindley Homes and Royal Building Committee, I believe will not be meeting this week. We'll be meeting next week to hear more of a presentation from our architect, but we have decided to use O&G and AP as our construction firm, so that is great news. And we'll be meeting again next week.
So you're still on weekly meetings, right?
We're still on weekly meetings until the June 30th state grant application deadline. So, and I believe once we hit that, we're going to be working with the committee to determine dates, probably more bi-monthly. Bi-weekly, not bi-monthly. Bi-monthly would be once every 2 months.
Okay. Marcy?
Sure. Busy. So Oxbridge Building Committee met on the 15th of June, so last Wednesday, and things are very busy over there. They are currently at 96% completion of the academic wing, which is the portion of the school that's going to have all the classrooms, etc. That is, as of this week, we have the building inspection and the fire marshal are coming in to check the place out, make sure it's sustainable, and then they're going to start moving teachers' boxes in over there. Furniture is coming in this week. Next week, the state of Connecticut is coming to do an assessment of the old Oxford School building, and that is going to be torn down maybe the second week of June. So second week of July is supposed to come down the 11th of July. Lots of activity happening in terms of closing out the school year. It was very fun. On Saturday, they had a spray goodbye to Oxbridge, where the PTO hosted and had a bunch of the young kids come, and they were able to spray the old school with chalk paint and say their goodbyes to the teacher. So that was a lot of fun. And they did a couple commemorative things. They had the graduating fifth graders come and sign one of the new beams that's going to be going into the new school. So it was a pretty emotional graduation for a lot of the kids. Lots of great things happening. In terms of budget, we're still on budget. We made all of the material that was supposed to be coming in to make sure that we can get in for the next few weeks has happened. Things to be going on track. O&G has done a fantastic job on pre-ordering and kind of looking to see how some of these issues can plan out, and they've done great. So things are good at Oxbridge. Exciting times. Second thing is working on the mental health task force. That has also been quite busy. We met as a community on June 1st. We had a tremendous amount of people that were engaged that came to that first meeting. A lot of ideas moving around between clergy and mental health professionals and town professionals and police department and anybody that you can kind of think would be impacted and kind of can help the community and the mental health task force sustain issues. We then met as a smaller group also on the 15th of June, and at that point we started to come together with some plans. One of the first tasks that we're taking under control is putting together, we're called a post-vention training program to put together a post-vention plan. So a post-vention plan is if there is a suicide in town, how do we react as a plan? We've got some information from the town of Greenwich, which had a really, really great plan, and we're going to be using some of that to try to develop Darien's. Along with that, we're going to have some post-vention training done by the hub that's going to give us some tools to really make sure that we make some decisions. I know Allie Ramsack at the town health department, she has now put together a list of providers that are on our Darien website, our mental health professionals that are currently taking new clients, and that I think is a really great resource for our town to have. You can go on Darien town website right away. She updates that daily. she's calling around to everywhere in town to just try to find people that are taking new patients. And on that list, you can see whether or not they take insurance. So it's another great resource. Another area that we're focusing over the summer is making sure that we put as many resources together for people in the community that have been directly impacted by suicide. So Ally is currently working with different organizations to put together support groups that will be ongoing throughout the summer, and a new plan will be in effect for September when everybody goes back to school. So it's been busy.
That's great. So she's updating the providers weekly?
Weekly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she's noting if they take insurance?
She's noting if they take insurance. She's pulling them off if they are no longer, there's been, she's put 2 new on and taken 2 off because so fast they're becoming, they're just getting overwhelmed by clients, so.
Okay, super. John, do you have anything?
No, the IT committee didn't meet this month since I'm out of the country, but we will be meeting next month, and I'll update all of you then.
Okay. All right, thank you. Are there any comments from the public? Okay, do we have anything?
I did not receive anything.
Okay. So next order of business is to discuss and take action on a request for the approval of the fiscal 22-23 wage plan. And Kate will explain this.
So this is an annual process for the non-represented employees where all the employees are evaluated. They first do a self-evaluation, and then they evaluate their subordinates, I evaluate them. Based on the evaluations, I put together a pay plan with the ratings, work with the budget that we have for the raises, take a look at where the union contracts are and what cost of living looks like. And based on that, I put together a plan which I shared with you in executive session. And so what I'm asking for you now is to officially approve that pay plan. Then we begin to notify the employees what their ratings are, what their wage increases will be based on that.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, may I have a motion to approve the fiscal 2022-2023 pay plan? Sarah moves, Marcy seconds, all in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is to discuss and take action on a request for a run for Ukraine. Tatiana Korkorska is here to explain the request. So do you
want to speak to it?
Do you want me to?
Yeah, if you would, you can come up to the podium.
Hello, my name is Tatiana Kokorska. We would like to ask you to give us permission to have a 5K run, and it's going to be 5K run, 5 and 1 mile walk here in Darien, Pierce 3 Beach. We got this proposition from John. He's been organizing from Jim. He's been organizing prior to this race boogie. What is it, Jim? Boogie? I forgot. Boogie run or something. Boogie it was. What it was?
Was it 2 right?
Yeah.
Want me to get up here?
Sure.
I just forgot. So he was organizing the races prior here in Darien. And since you know the situation here in Ukraine, what's happening, we are organization Blue and Yellow of Ukraine. We've been making the events and making the little hearts, Stepan has it, and we're selling them here for people to support Ukraine, and then we send all the kind of humanitarian aid, what we can, to Ukraine. So therefore we're trying to organize a 5K run for that reason as well. So whatever we can make funds from the race, we can also buy supplies what needed to Ukraine. That's why we need you. And Jim was doing the event here, so that's why he knows.
I've been organizing in the past the Bunny Boogie, which was held at Pear Tree Point for years, and then with COVID, there weren't any races being held, so that race kind of went by the wayside, as did the Law Day Road Race, which kind of just also went by the wayside about the same time, maybe a year before that. So those are 2 races that have a long history in Darien, but just have sort of gone into hibernation. So technically, I think there's only one race in town, which is the Darien Road race held in September. So when Tatiana and I kind of approached each other, I thought, I was amazed that nobody had put on a race for Ukraine with what's going on there and the need for fundraising and stuff. So I approached her, and we sort of got together, and we were talking about where to hold it, and I said, well, Darien would be a good place because there aren't any races there really, and it would be attractive. There's a little background. There's a group called the 169 runners who try to run a race in each of the 169 towns in Connecticut, and Darien is what they call an elusive town because there's only one race here. So I said, if you can get permission to hold it, there'll be, instant reception from those people at least. And then, all the local people, and I think just the cause behind it will have a lot of traction for it. So we went to Parks and Rec, went to the police commission, they both okayed it. So essentially, I think this is the final step for approval, and it'll be the same course that we used for the Bunny Boogie and the Law Day down at Pear Tree Point. It's just kind of a loop and a half down there out of the beach.
So you're comfortable with the 200 number?
Yes, I think so.
Is that historically what these other two races
Yeah, I
have?
think so, not even.
Okay.
So I think 200 or so would be, that would be a nice figure to hit. I think, it doesn't overwhelm the facility at all. I know the Darien Road Race has gotten as many as 500
Right,
down
that's
there.
what I'm thinking.
And parking is always a little tight there, but for that race. But I think 200 is easily, comfortable down there. There's plenty of parking. The race is planned for 8:15 in the morning, so it's not going to be a lot of beach people there at that time on a Sunday morning. And
So-
everybody would be out of there by probably 9:15, 9:30.
Okay,
So
that's what I was gonna ask.
it won't have any real impact. Only, there'd be maybe some people that come down, the early goers. But usually Sunday, I don't think is a big beach day that early.
Do you put up any banners or anything along the race, along the course?
No. The roads, we usually mark with chalk, just for the direction. And there's really only, we just tell people just keep taking left turns. What's that?
We're going to have volunteers.
Yeah, and then there'll be we always hire an off-duty police officer to man the intersection down at Long Neck and Pear Tree. And they cover that. Usually there's not a lot of traffic on a Sunday morning down there.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
No?
Thank you for doing.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the run for Ukraine? And may I have a motion? Thank you, Mike. Second, Sarah seconds. All in favor? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're all invited to come. You go it's a 1 mile walk too.
Well, that's why I was asking about the time, because if I'm in the race, we need to
We need the full
just
hour.
adjust that. I don't think 9:30 is gonna actually work.
Remember, you start at the top of the hill and finish at the bottom.
That's the secret, okay. Well, thank you for coming, and thank you for doing this. Okay, next item on the agenda is to discuss and take action to approve settlement of tax appeal.
So Wayne and Tony Helmicke explained this settlement to you in executive session. So now I also handed out to you a suggested motion for you to vote on. This is related to the King's Highway Tennis Club.
Okay. Is there any discussion? No? Okay, Kate, do I read this whole motion?
Usually we do, yeah.
Oh, we do, okay. So, I will read the motion. The Darien Board of Selectmen hereby approves settlement of the case of Kings Highway Tennis Club LLP versus the Town of Darien to amend the fair market value of the property to $4,907,200 from $5,007,200, effective applicable to the grand list of October 1st, 2018 and October 1st, 2019, and a reduction in the fair market value of the property to $4,875,200 from $5,007,200, effective applicable to the grand lists of October 1st, 2020, October 1st, 2021, and October 1st, 2022, in accordance with a stipulation for judgment. May I have a motion to approve? Mike moves. Sarah seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, next item on the agenda is to discuss and take action on a request to establish a special revenue fund to manage Great Island operations. Kate's gonna explain
So
this.
if we are successful in purchasing the property, we will be receiving income and we will have some related expenses. The annual income is $800,200. Expenses are much, they're about $370 on an annual basis according to the information we've been given by the sellers. So what we're asking you for here is an estimate based on 6 months of revenue, assuming that if we're successful, we would take ownership in late August, that the tenants would be in place until February, or through February. So that's 6 months of revenue. So in order to spend the revenue that we take in, we need an appropriation. We want to set it up as a special revenue fund so that it's not impacting the general fund. And we can do that under accounting standards because the property is producing its own revenue. It's not being reliant on the general fund for the operations. So the Board of Finance has voted on this. We're asking you to vote on it, recommend it to the RTM, and this should follow the other items on their agenda on Monday. So assuming the first one's passed, then passes to allow us to actually run the island, utilize the income and pay the expenses.
Okay. Any discussion?
I'm assuming this follows the Parks and Recreation Special Revenue Fund that we did.
It's similar to that, yes. Yeah, it's the same concept. It's like the parking fund too, and the sewer fund, they're all special revenue funds. The key is that their main source of revenue has to be non-tax.
Any other questions? John, any questions?
No, none for me.
Okay. Okay, if there are no further questions, may I have a motion to approve the establishment of a special revenue fund to manage Great Island? Mike moves. Marcy seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay. Next item up on the agenda is to discuss and take action on a request to transfer $15,000 to a pear tree improvement project. And Pam Gary, our Director of Park and Rec, is here to discuss it.
Good evening. So I've given the Board of Selectmen a transfer form with an explanation and a backup from Weston Sampson, who's doing the work on the project. Just in general, in the fall of 2019, the building committee put the Pear Tree Point Beach Improvement Project on hold due to negative feedback surrounding the proposal. The plan was to revisit the proposal in 2020, I can't say that word.
Subsequently.
Thank you. When the pandemic hit in the spring of 2020, all parks and recreation projects were put on hold. The Pear Tree Building Committee held their last meeting to determine how to proceed with the work that Weston Sampson was performing at the time with regard to obtaining a certificate of permission from the state. The building committee agreed that obtaining the COP was imperative to the project and that there was public support surrounding these improvements. These improvements were the updating and redoing the boat ramp. There was raising part of the parking lot and doing some dredging and sampling plans. COP was essential to the project because it allows for the improvements to be to be made to correct the pitch of the boat ramp and to raise the parking lot. At the time, there were funds left in our capital budget to continue this work. I reached out to First Selectman Jamie Stevenson at the time, and she agreed and approved for the work to continue on this portion of the project. This work had been tediously slow and time-consuming. 2 years later, we are finally close to getting all of the necessary approvals for the COP. Unfortunately, the most recent 2 invoices received had created a deficit in the capital account. Therefore, I'm requesting an additional $15,000 to finalize this last segment of work to allow Weston & Sampson to obtain the COP. The $15,000 will allow me to pay the $9,200, which was overspent in the account on the 2 most recent invoices, and provide an additional $5,783 to finish the job. Weston & Sampson gave me an estimate of approximately $5,000 for this final work. I also accompanied this with, as I said, the invoice backup from Weston & Sampson, and here it explains, as a result, much of the additional work was not anticipated nor realized of the complete magnitude until the Army Corps of Engineers and the Environment Protection Agency. Much of this additional work was not anticipated, realized of the complete magnitude until Army Corps of Engineers, sorry, I repeated myself there, rendered a decision on the results of the sampling and set what the testing requirements were. So there was a lot of things that they just didn't understand they were walking into at the time. And while we were getting invoices from Neil Hawk, because they were working as a group together, Neil Hawk would pay the expenses, and then we would reimburse Neil for the job. And he was running off a balance of what we had in that account. And I think those 2 final invoices weren't matching up to his accounting. So that's really where all of a sudden we came in and we were like, we don't have enough funding. We thought we did, and then his accounting was not matching ours.
Pam, do any of these things have an expiration? Like the Army Corps?
This 5-year, this application, once and if it's approved, which it should be, they're so close, they will have a five years, and then you'll have an opportunity to have an extension as well. So you don't have to do anything, but all this hard work now is just about set aside, because I would imagine at some time this improvement is going to be done. It may not be next year, may not be the year after, but we will have that 5 years plus extension to work with.
And the extension works how?
You request an extension through the state, and
Is
I
it a
believe
5 year?
it's 2 years.
2 year? Okay. Okay. Any questions?
But, so if I understand your presentation, but this is for monies that are owed. I mean, this is to, most, sounds like most of it is for.
9,200, they sent in their last 2, I shouldn't say last, because there's still some anticipated work to be done.
Right.
But these last invoices were totaling approximately 11,200, and we only had 2,700 in our capital. So we have to cover that 92, and that will leave us 5,700 to get the final work done. And I asked Dan up front, I don't want to come back and ask for more money. So give me a good estimate as to where you think what you're gonna need.
Thank you.
And do we know when the work might happen? No, okay.
Well, all I keep hearing is they're really close. They couldn't tell us anything. It was so long. No one ever anticipated this much money nor this much time. In all his handlings with, again, pandemic, so it was hard to get, I think, staffing, hard to get decision-making. It was a long, long time, 2 years. His initial estimate would have said it about less than a year, and it just went over. And then, of course, them changing their requirements of the testing based on what they had in the past. So that took us for a little loop as well.
Did the scope of work change?
The scope of work did not change. It was
Okay.
the requirements that changed.
Okay.
Any other questions? John?
No.
Okay. There are no further questions. May I have a motion to approve the transfer of $15,000 to the Pear Tree Improvement Project? Mike moves. Sarah seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Thanks, Pam.
Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for coming to explain. Okay, next item on the agenda is to discuss and take action on a recommendation to reappoint Kathy Conlon as a Tokeny Constable. May I have a motion to approve the reappointment of Kathy Conlon as a Tokeny Constable of the Town of Darien in accordance with Section 7-92 of the Connecticut General Statutes for a 2-year term expiring June 30th, 2024. Mike moves, Sarah seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is to reappointment of a member of the Monuments and Ceremonies Commission.
Do you want to pass on the people who
yes,
didn't come?
monument, sorry, we didn't. Okay, so we're gonna go, and we're going
to go to EPC.
Right, we'll also skip zoning. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the reappointment of Eric Youston to the Environmental Protection Commission for a term expiring June 30th, 2024. Marcy moves, may I have a second? Mike seconds. All in favor? It's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Okay, next item on the agenda is minutes. Review and approve the minutes of June 6th, regular meeting, June 6th, 2022. Are there any additions, deletions, subtractions? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented? Marcy moves, Mike seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. Next up is to review and approve the minutes of the June 9th, 2022 special meeting. Any additions, edits, deletions? Okay. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the June 9th, 2022 special meeting? Marcy moves, Mike seconds. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Agenda review, are there any topics that board members would like to see on future agendas?
We are planning to have Jeremy come in. We didn't do tonight because
Busy.
we weren't sure if John would be able to attend, and
That's
it
his
was
request,
his
yeah.
request, so.
Right,
Agreed.
right, we had that, and I think we also have our mission statement, we have,
Yep.
ARPA also, John wanted John, didn't you request at a previous?
Oh, status of the ARPA.
Yes, status of the ARPA, and the only other one I would add, just given tonight's discussion, is it'd be interesting to hear where the Pear Tree Point effort is. I know it was suspended, and we just talked about this appropriation for the COP. It would be interesting just to get a general update on what's next with that project.
I believe you'll be getting a request or communication from the chairman regarding the future of the Pear Tree Committee shortly.
Oh, great. That's terrific. Thanks.
I'd also like to get an update on what's
That's it for me.
Sorry, with the Palmer's property. Seems like there's a lot of talk about that.
Well,
Perhaps
that would be Jeremy.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
the update can only be from our perspective,
Right.
So,
Right.
but Jeremy can discuss that.
Okay, seeing that is all, may I have a motion to adjourn? Mike moves, Marcy seconds, all in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, everyone.
You-